webcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody, or good morning, everybody, wherever you're at. This is Chris Robbins. I'm going to be moderating this webinar tonight. I'm about to introduce Ian as well. He'll be presenting the webinar, and this is the new user webinar for Buzztouch. So welcome everybody to that. A couple things before I introduce Ian. This is going to be a 90-minute webinar. There'll be a couple places along the way that we will stop and entertain some questions. Please try to keep those questions pertinent to the information that we've already presented, because you may have your question actually answered further on in the presentation. At the end, time provided, we'll make sure that we answer all the questions and make sure that nobody logs off tonight without their question being answered. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Ian. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to unmute everybody. If you could do me a favor, please, and right-click on your name and click Mute Me, or use the Mute Me button. That way we won't have any feedback during the presentation. When it comes time to ask questions, I'll be happy to unmute you, and you can use the question tab also on your GoToWebinar control panel. So we are going to unmute everybody. Oops.
So welcome everyone. Glad you could join us for the new user webinar. Some familiar faces here and some brand new people. Love it. Awesome. I'm going to click on our About Us page on the Buzztouch website just so you see that we're real people here. That's me, if you can see my cursor moving around my face. I'm on the other end of the mic.
I don't think
Chris Robbins.
I don't think you're showing your screen yet, are you?
There we go. That should be working, right?
Yep.
Everybody got my screen?
I got you now.
Awesome. So as I was saying, we're on the About Us page on the Buzztouch website. That's my face right there that I'm scrolling around. And here's Chris Robinson, my wingman tonight. And here's Warren, who organizes all these cool events. So let's get started here with the New Year's webinar. And some of the questions that we're going to answer tonight in this webinar. What is Buzztouch? What can you do with Buzztouch? How does Buzztouch work? Who is Buzztouch for? How is Buzztouch different? And where do I start? All good questions, because we're in the app building business, so and anyone that's just getting started, these are all great questions. They need to be answered. And Buzztouch makes it easier for you to do these things, but it can get a little confusing when you're getting started. So what is Buzztouch? Well, it says here, Buzztouch is open source, flexible, powerful, and professional web-based software that powers tens of thousands of iPhone, iPad, and Android applications. And that's true. There's tons of Buzztouch apps out there in the wild, on the markets, doing very well, all created right here in the Buzztouch platform. Also, we see here that it says what I was just saying. The Buzztouch platform enables developers to create mobile applications and manage dynamic content within existing apps. So you can pretty much change things up on the fly when you need to. Really cool stuff. And it's used in conjunction with the iOS and Android software developer kits. We'll talk about that stuff a little bit later. David Book, founded in 2009. Awesome guy, used by more than 175,000 people worldwide, which is no exaggeration. Tons of people using the software. And the headquarters are up in Monterey, California. And David, our founder, does a lot of programming from his boat, which is kind of sweet. So it brings us to our next question. What can you do with Buzztouch? Well, you can quickly develop mobile apps of varying complexity, and you can manage mobile apps with dynamic content from an online control panel. So you can pretty much build your apps as you grow, as you learn more about the system and about how apps work and how Buzztouch fits into this whole thing. You can just keep growing and learning, and you'll learn a lot, and you won't even realize it sometimes that you are learning. It's kind of cool how it all links itself together. It's a really fun process. So how does Buzztouch work? Well, you'll create an application in your control panel. You can add and configure your screens, which we call plugins. You'll download your source code onto your computer. You'll open your source code and compile, and then you'll see your app running on a device or in the simulator. And we're going to cover all that stuff tonight, so no worries. You don't have to. That's if it feels like a lot coming at you right now, it's not going to be a big deal. You're going to see just how easy all of this stuff is. Now, who is Buzztouch for? Well, anyone and everyone, literally. That's why there's an exclamation point there, because we've got 13-year-olds to 80-year-olds using the software. Literally, I was showing my grandfather. He was visiting, and he was blown away by what you could do. So it's kind of neat. He's got his own iPad and everything, so he should be a developer as well. Non-developers, developers, even if you know code, this is really good software for you to use because it gives you a jump start on your projects. You can get yourself weeks ahead in the game, even if you are a seasoned developer. For web developers to be able to offer their clients apps instead of just web pages. You know, it's a growing, apps are pretty much taking over the world, so it's good stuff to be able to do for your clients. Businesses using it to promote their business to generate more profits. We've got doctors, teachers, photographers, musicians, entrepreneurs, on and on. It's pretty amazing all the people using the software, and there's just no hidden agendas or secrets to this thing. It's you sign up and you can start making your apps and learning and just get involved. It's awesome. So how is Buzztouch different? Well, first and foremost, the community. I think most of you are familiar with the forums and just how quickly you can get an answer. But it's, you know, I've been with Buzztouch a few years now, and I'm not surprised, but it always tickles me that how quickly you get real answers and make friends on the forum. You can see here on the right, we've got the top 25. They're all good people to know. You'll be networking, and I'm sure you're going to come across a bunch of these faces pretty quickly when you say hi. Over here on the left, the welcome screen. These are all users that have just signed up. You can see their avatars and good stuff to know. So actually, let's jump into the buzztouch.com forums and take a look at it firsthand. So as you can see, we're in the forums. Here's the new users that I was talking about. All cool new people over there that signed up. Here's the forum categories. So you can browse through different topics, all really cool things. As you can see here, here's the newest topics. And as you can see, all of these have answers already. Post your question if you ever have a question, no matter how big or small. You can definitely find an answer. The community is engaging. It's very cool. And up here, if you can see my cursor moving around, a lot of times we'll put up a kind of important information up here in the forum page for you to click on and see. This one has to do with some updates happening with Apple and the new Xcode. That we'll be looking at Xcode a little later. No worries. Getting my screens up. So let's look at how is Buzztouch different. And these are kind of important things to know. This first one, keep the code. And there's a reason for this exclamation point, because keeping the source code for your project is pretty important. And you'll see later on as you develop apps, actually keeping the code and being able to tweak it, play with play with the code, see exactly how an app actually works behind the scenes. And if you have clients, they'll want their source code most likely. Next topic, some services will compile your project and supply you the finished product. So, that's good in some cases, but there's still a middleman involved there. And in a lot of instances, that's not the best route to go. That we don't think so here at Buzztouch. Some services will submit your app for a fee. Again, that's one way to do it. Next topic here is some services will charge you for the source code. Here at Buzztouch, you get to keep it. You download it, it's yours to keep. And everything you design and create at Buzztouch is yours to keep. So again, there's no hidden agendas, no monkey business. We're here to build apps and to teach people how to build apps using the Buzztouch platform and methods. So it's, again, I'll probably end up saying cool a lot tonight, the word cool, but it's just very cool. So this next topic, project scalability. Some app builders allow elaborate app creation, but require learning a program language. So maybe they'll have a language that may be a little easier than Objective-C or Java, but it's still quite hard for some. And even for me, I've learned a lot, but if I don't have to go through that trouble, I certainly don't want to. I want to get into building apps and creating something fun and useful as quickly as possible so I can concentrate on my design more than the coding. And next topic, some app builders allow simple app creation but are very limited in function, which you get into creating cookie cutter type apps. You don't, when they're so simple, some of these solutions that are out there, you don't have the advantage of creating things, what you can think in your mind, you can most times come up with at Buzztouch, whereas if you add a site that just gives you simple solutions, you're going to look like everybody else, which isn't cool. Next topic, Buzztouch allows you to scale your projects between these two limitations, and that's what I've just been talking about. You can build your app as you grow. The more you can think up, the more you can do. It's awesome. It's cool. Start with something simple and add more as you learn. Again, I keep stressing that. It's start with a simple project, and we're gonna build a simple app tonight and to show you how easy it is. And you'll just be able to keep adding to your app, and as you know more and grow more and meet more people in the Buzztouch community that will help you to achieve your goals with your app building. Now here's something really important as I take my sip of water. Cheers, everyone. Plugins. Plugins allow expandability of your project. Unlike other services, new and exciting plugins are submitted by other Buzztouch members. So we'll never be stuck with the same cookie cutter screens again. Now let's go to the Buzztouch website and take a look at the plugins, the plugin market. And right here along the top, you'll see on the Buzztouch site, most of your main screens will be along the top here. So we're going to click on plugins, and now we're in the plugin market. And I'm signed in as a guest fresh account for this purpose. So you'll see that I have 0 market credit up here. Not that you need to have market credit to start building some cool apps. There's a lot of free plugins or screens that you'll be seeing shortly when we build an app. But some of the plugins you'll see are $4.99, $5.99. All these too, you'll see some are for Android and iPhone. You can use them for, and eventually all these will be for both platforms. That's our goal. Oh, and one more thing to comment on plugins. If you did buy a plugin for your app, and you'll see in a little bit when we do this, it's a one-time fee. You buy that plugin and you can use it for the rest of your app making life. It's yours to use in as many apps as you want. It's a one-time fee for that type of screen. But again, there's many other free screens to get you started, so no worries there. So do I have any questions at this point before I get going too quick? I don't think I see any hands up or anything at this point. I know I'm covering a lot of things quickly, but I'm kind of excited to get making an app. So all good? All right.
Sounds good.
As long as everyone can hear me and all right, so where do I start? A lot of you have probably already seen some of this stuff, but it doesn't hurt to get back to some of the basics. And for the newest people, it's good for me to drive some of these points home, especially with setting up your account and looking at forums and stuff, because it's really useful to be involved in the Buzztouch community. So where do I start? We'll explore the account menu with all these different profiles and your email settings. We'll visit the forum again. I showed you that earlier, but I'll show you the importance of introducing yourself once again, because it really is important to get involved. The Buzztouch learning path is only approximately 32 minutes at this point, and it's amazing what you'll learn. You'll take a little quiz, and you'll get your first star, and it's pretty cool because when you take some of the Buzztouch learning path stuff and you get your stars, and people know that you're committed to learning and want to be involved, they'll know how to speak to you in better terms and not have to baby step you in case you already know certain things. By stars in your account, they'll know that you're a little more real deal and you want to learn these things. And then we'll visit the how-tos page. So let's head over to the Buzztouch website really quick. So up here you'll see that I'm Joe Guest account, and you'll be going up here a lot. So we'll click on this as I'm loading, and you'll see here on the left this main account little menu here, drop-down menu, and you'll be coming to this a lot for your applications and to check in on webinar events, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really good place to know. You'll be coming here a lot. So let's look at the public profile down here. Good stuff to know. And it is kind of important to fill it out a little bit. You'll put your own little avatar in there, your screen name. A little status would be good to give people your vibe. It's always good to let people know, you know, maybe you're a little funny, maybe you're a little more serious, maybe you're both. I tend to be a little more funny, or I try to be. So you can put your location in so other users in the Buzztouch map can see where you're located. And you know, maybe you want to get some help and you can see how close somebody might be to you, and maybe you guys can meet up and share some ideas and Buzztouch stories and work on some apps together. So really cool stuff. You can see some pins already showing up. That's just the 100 most recent logins, so pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to go back to my account. So we just looked at the public profile. Let's look at your developer profile, which as you get more comfortable with Buzztouch and learning things, I wouldn't be surprised if you found yourself actually getting work to build apps for others. So in here you'd be able to have your name, a title, whatever you want, maybe your website and your Twitter page, your developer email, and then a description about yourself, what you like doing, that kind of stuff, and your skills. Maybe you are a skilled developer looking for work, joining Buzztouch in that regards, telling them you know different programming languages, or you give surf lessons. Who knows? You never know. Different languages, all this stuff is pretty cool to fill in, even your hourly rate, whatever you feel you might want to charge. So it's another cool feature that Buzztouch added to develop your profiles and get you more involved and active. And the community is just growing and growing. It's amazing how many people are registering daily. It's a little mind-boggling, actually. Then we'll see your email settings here. And these three are usually pre-checked, which is pretty cool. I like to hit this send me an email when I receive a private message, so it goes to my email, and I know that somebody sent me a message. But just read through these and make sure you're receiving anything you post on the forum to your own personal email, so you know when you ask a question or respond to somebody's post that you'll get a notification in your email. All good stuff. So I said we go back to the forum as well, and I just wanted to click on this introduce yourself screen. If you're a brand new user and you have not introduced yourself yet, that's a really good thing to do. And you'll see a lot of the top 25 will jump right in, and daily people are just saying hi with their new users. I think some of you are here with us. I think I saw Tyree. So awesome. And it's really about networking. I mean, it's amazing how quickly you make friends on here, and everybody just wants to help each other. So don't be shy to introduce yourself. I know when I started a few years ago using Buzztouch, I felt a little weird that maybe I was not asking a smart enough question or something, and there really is no question that shouldn't be asked. Of course, going to the how-to section up here is another resource that might help you with some questions that you might have with some detailed documentation. So don't be afraid to click on each one of these links up here and get used to the Buzztouch site. A lot of great information. But the forum is your best friend. You can search the forums over here on the left with the advanced search and type in any questions you might have in the fields, your topic title or created by, all that kind of stuff. You know, all that goodies. And the Buzztouch U stuff, which you can also access through your account. If you haven't taken any of the Buzztouch lessons yet, I highly suggest them. They do give you a little bit of a fast track. They're not very long. You'll take a little less. You'll watch a 5-minute video, and you'll take a little quiz just to refresh your mind. And there's, you don't have to feel that you have to get every answer right, but it's to reinforce what you've learned, and so you can apply it to your Buzztouch apps that you build. Again, really cool stuff, well thought out, invaluable. I know I went back to I'd been building apps, and I went back to the Buzztouch U learning screens, and I was surprised about even the terminology that I didn't have. That was nice to be able, when I'm speaking to other developers, that I knew what to call certain things instead of that, well, that thingy that spins, I knew what to call it a certain other thing. So that was pretty cool. So I've talked enough about the site and all these little things that a lot of you might already know, but let's start talking about making an app, because that's why we're here. And these are just some of the screens that I want to show you that are going to be coming up. So we're going to have a demonstration of making our first app. And with just a few steps, we add a few screens, we'll download the source code, open in the Xcode compiler, we'll launch it in the iPhone simulator, and that's all it takes to get hooked. Literally, it's pretty cool when you see that simulator pop up and there's your creation that's starting to come to life. We call it the aha moment around here. And we'll add, download, compile. We'll get to this very shortly, where you download your package with your source code onto your computer, and you open it up in your Xcode or Eclipse environment, and that's where the magic really starts happening. And I just wanted to touch on this really quick. Computer requirements. So if you're going to be developing for Apple or iOS, your iPhone, iPad, all that stuff, you're going to need an Intel-based Mac. And I would Google just a little bit about that if you have some time, to build for the newest iOS, which is iOS 6, and I think 6.1 is approaching. You're going to want a Intel-based Mac running like Lion or Mountain Lion. so you can get the most recent version of Xcode. And then developing for Android, you can use your Mac or Windows PC, or I know Linux will work as well. So if you don't have a Mac, no worry, you can start working on your Windows computer. You'll only be able to compile your Android app, but at least you'll get running and stuff, and you can see how it works, and maybe you're going to want to make the investment to grab a Mac. So enough of this chit chat about all this stuff. Let's jump into our account and start making an app, shall we? So again, I'm gonna, if you can see, it's highlighted in orange up here, my Joe Guest account, my secret name for the night. So I'm gonna click on that, and down here under my account, I'm going to click on Applications. And here's a little test app that's already sitting there, but I'm going to create a new one. So over here, I'm just going to go over to Create, click on New App, just that simple. And we're going to create a new app using the online control panel. Sounds good to me. Let's do it. So let's choose an application name. For this purpose, we'll just say New User Demo. And you'll need to click these little boxes here. No one's going to come to your house and get you or anything. They're just protection for you, as well as other people that have rights to certain things. But just click them. You'll be fine. So it's creating our project. Pretty cool. And right here, I'm going to click on Continue to this applications control panel. So here we are on our new user demo main screen for your app here. And let's take a little look at what all this stuff means, just a quick little overview. App icon, which as you can see here on the fake iPhone screen here, the app icon that you upload is what the user sees on their device that they tap and then opens up your app and runs. We're all familiar with that, and it's pretty cool. So you just upload your graphic, you'll choose your file and upload your graphic. For this case, I'm just going to use the preloaded icon. Core properties, just different things you can change about your app information. Your application name, if you decide to change that, if you want a different name. Your app ID, your API key, API secret. All these numbers, you don't have to worry, get too worried about these numbers, but each application will have its own certain IDs and keys associated with them. Just an FYI there. Your project name, when you download your source code, your project will have a name, so if you wanted to change that before you download it, you could do that. And there's just a bunch of different properties here. These are a little more advanced stuff, but it's a good screen to check out when you have free time, and after you've built an app, it's fun to come back to your control panel and just see even how much more power there is. You know, there's a lot of apps that people have built with their free accounts, with their free plugins that haven't even begun to touch the power of the control panel, but they built really cool apps that are out there doing very well, all with their free accounts. See the layout tab, and as you can see here, this shows the non-tab layout, which is just like a simple menu or screen. You've also seen other apps that have tab layouts, where they're the little buttons across the bottom of a screen that you tap to get to different screens. For this demonstration tonight, we're going to just make a non-tab layout to keep things simple, but if we have any questions later on about tab layouts, feel free to ask later on. No worries. So I'm going to go back to my application home here. Screens and actions. This is a very good one to take a look at here. And screens, when we talk about screens, well, we're also talking about plugins, which are these babies here. If you click on plugins, I showed you this earlier, but all these plugins are screens in your app. So when a user chooses something, chooses a feature, or you want to make a iPad storybook page, really cool stuff. But you can choose your different screens, add them to your app, and screens are called plugins. Don't forget that simple terminology, really cool. So while we're here on this screens page, for this application tonight, we're just going to use a simple home screen menu. And I just clicked on that icon. You'll see it's called Menu Simple. And you've got your navigation bar, your menu rows that'll go in your menu. And you're going to see all this in a little bit. Now, to create an app, you need more than just one screen. You need to be able to do different things. So what we're going to want to do is add some screens to our app. You know, right here we see that we have a simple menu screen. Well, we want that menu to have choices for people, of course. So we're going to click Add New. And up here, I'm just going to create a simple web page screen. So I'm going to put in website. And then you'll choose your plugin type, which is a custom URL. And you'll get used to all this. It's kind of good to go through your plugins and read what they're all about. And we'll click Add. And you'll see that it was created successfully. Now, if we go back to our screens page, up here you'll see some of your, in orange up here, your app choices. And we'll go back to screens to see the screen that we just created. So we can see it in our list very easily. And you'll see that we created a website screen. Well, let's add a map maybe to our menu. So I'm just going to call it Map. Good as name as any for now. And I'm going to choose the location map screen or plugin. And we're going to add that to our list of screens. I'm going to go back and see if it worked. And it did. See, we've got a map and a website, and both of these will go into our home screen. Now, before we get any further with using our control panel here, and that's what we're doing right now. We're using our Buzztouch control panel to create an app. Very cool, very easy to use. And once you get used to it, you're going to be zipping around this thing, just whipping out apps. It's very well set up and very well thought out. So I'm going to go back to my application name, and I'm going to see download source code. And I'm skipping to this quickly for a reason, just so we can get into downloading our package, our source code, so that we can put it on our computer and start running the application, see how we can make changes on the fly in our control panel. And I'm going to be building for my Apple or Mac computer with the iOS app. You can also prepare your package for Android, but for this demonstration, we're going to be using Apple, iOS. So you can see it's preparing for download. And now I'm going to download the .zip archive. And that's going to contain all the screens and features that I'm going to need in my app. They're already going to come to me. So I'm going to minimize those windows. I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and I'm old school. I like to drag things to my desktop and make things messy. So I can't be the only one. No way. So here we are on the desktop. Here's my new user demo. You'll see it highlighted there in orange. I'm going to click on that folder. And this is the package that I downloaded. It came in a zip file, and my Mac automatically decompressed it. But here's my folder containing the project that I just downloaded. And you'll see in here an instruction PDF, not very many pages. I would give it a quick read through. But we're going to launch Xcode now. Right here is the Xcode icon. You can see my new user demo, Xcode project, right there. So I'm going to click on that, and you can see that Xcode's starting to launch. And now I'm getting excited because it's so cool and it just works. It's awesome. So we've got my little spinning wheel, and you can see Xcode firing up. And it's going to index some files and do some different things. And if you were doing this on a Windows computer or your Mac, if you were building for Android with the Eclipse environment, it's a little bit slower of a program. So if it takes a little longer than Xcode, if Eclipse takes longer than Xcode to load, let it do its thing. It usually takes a little longer to do things, but you'll get there, no worries. Now the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to go back to my folder that I downloaded, same one that's got the instructions in it, the Xcode icon with the project, and we're going to need to add, and this is all in the instruction PDF, we need to add some folders to our Xcode project, and I'm going to show you an easy way to do that. And I like to look at my folders this way, in this view. You can also view files this way, in a list view type thing, but I'm old school. I like to see the icons. So we're going to need to, I'm going to line these up so you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to need the plugins folder. We're going to need the images folder. We're going to need the BT docs folder. We're going to need the video folder. And we're going to need the sound folder. Now you could drag these into your project individually, but I like to do them all at once. And when I say drag them in, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to drag these folders. I'm going to select them all. And we're going to drag them into our Xcode project. We're going to drag them in just over our project name here, right into our project. So you'll see I'm dragging them up. And you'll want to make sure that that is outlined. See how there's a little box around where it says New User Demo, Target iOS SDK 6. We're going to make sure that that's going to be added. So I'll close this. And you'll get prompted with this dealio here, copy the items if needed. So we'll hit Finish. And there, our folders have been added to our project. So that means we're ready to launch our simulator and to start seeing this thing in action. And that's how easy it is. Talking about it takes longer than just doing it. So I apologize if I'm rambling. So I'm going to choose the iPhone 6 simulator. And you'll have downloaded, if you create an Apple developer account, you'll be able to download your Xcode and all that. Most of you probably already have done that, and you're sitting in watching me go through this. So I'm going to I choose the iPhone simulator, and I'm going to hit Run on my project. And you can see it's starting to compile all the resources in these folders, including the folders that we added. And the bigger your project gets, if you have images and videos in your project, the longer it might take for the simulator to launch. Our simulator's popping up. Now's a good time for a sip of water. Cheers, y'all. It should be popping up any second now. And there you go. You can see our simple menu that we chose. that was going to be our home screen. And so cool. I mean, it works. We can, just like the phone, we go back and we see this predetermined icon that I chose to stuck with. You can have your own icon uploaded in your control panel. But it's on the simulator running. The only problem is well, it's just a simple screen. There's nothing to click on and nothing for it to do. So that's not fun. It's an app. It needs to have a function. It needs to do stuff. So with Xcode launched and our simulator running and our project ready to go, let's go back to our Buzztouch control panel. I'm going to go back to my applications. And I'm working on my new user demo. I'm going to go to my screens and actions. And what we want here is, and you can have unlimited number of screens in your apps. This is just a very, very basic example. But I want to add my website and my map to my menu screen that we see here in the simulator. It's blank, but I want these two screens to work in this screen menu. So what we're going to do is I'm going to select my home screen menu, and we need to give it, we need to name these rows. We need to put something in these rows. So all we need to do, and this is my Xcode simulator running here. This isn't something that's running on Buzztouch. This simulator that I'm moving around my screen is the one that I launched from Xcode, just to be clear. So I'm going to add a row. We're going to call it website because I want my website to, and you can call this whatever you like. Maybe I'll name it my website, whatever you feel like naming it. But I'm going to select an existing screen that I had already created. And as you can see, here's my website screen that I created earlier. Now the beauty of it is that if you haven't already created the screens, you could technically create a new screen from this page as well. But you'll get to know these little more advanced features as you go. So all I did was add a row title, added my existing website screen, and clicked Add. Sweet. Now I want to add my map to my screen menu as well. So I'm just going to call it My Map for now. I'm going to choose my map screen that I created and click Add. Easy peasy, simple as that. Now if we go back to our simulator, you'll see this refresh button on the screen. I'm going to click on that, and voila, aha moment. And all of a sudden, things are starting to jive. We've got a menu screen with actual screens and places for people to go and tap on. The only problem is we haven't said what exactly we want these screens to do or say. So, but that's easy enough to do. So I'm just going to quickly go back to my screens to make it a little more simple to view. But I want to click on my website page. And here you can see all the options that you have here to customize your web page. Your navigation bar, if you want a different title up there, you know, website rocks. And if I wanted a different web address, Google's just a little demo there, but I'll put in buzztouch.com. Then I'll go back to my screens and click on my map. And let's type in New York. And this little function here is pretty cool. You can enter a subtitle. So let me type in New York, New York. I've already got it in there. And we can use this little button over here to find the latitude and longitude of the subtitle. You can see here I have New York, New York, and that's the destination of where we want to go on this map. So I click that, and right there you'll see that the latitude and longitude is filled in. And there's many screens you can configure. This map screen is just one simple one that's just a good way to demo. And if you're running a business, a map screen uh, to take people right to your business or destination is awesome. So I've added that information into my screen. So I'm going to go back to my simulator and click refresh. Now when I click on my website, you'll see that the navigation bar has changed to whatever I wanted to call it in my control panel, and even the website has changed. That's simple, all on the fly. And you'll see on my map screen here that now I actually have a destination with a pin for people to go to, and you can name that whatever you want, Joey's Awesome Deli, and give them the address, and then maybe you'll have specials in your app or whatever. But great for businesses, fun, easy to use, awesome stuff. So another cool thing to look at, as long as we're in the control panel, is I'm going to go back to my screens, and I'm going to click on Home Screen Menu, which is this menu that's holding these two plugins or screens, if you remember. And it looks a little boring, and maybe I don't want it to be home, so I'm going to call it New User App, just for this demonstration. So I'm going to change the top navigation bar title. And there's a bunch of different features: your layout color, your rows, your sizes, your font sizes, screen background color. Let's change that to something other than that boring white. Maybe you don't like white for that. I like orange, so it looks orangish. So you can select a color here. Just click Save. Now back in our running simulator, I just have to hit refresh, and now it's starting to be look a little more like something, something. Not bad. And these apps, again, this is a super simple demonstration. If you go to the plugin market, let's go there again, and the possibilities are becoming endless. There's developers and Buzztouch users just like yourself that are members that can add their own plugins to the market once they gain enough knowledge. So you can make some pretty elaborate apps. And that menu screen that we're looking at here on our simulator is just one simple way to build your app. There's other menus in here as well that are circle view menus and carousel menus, and just really cool stuff to use. So definitely worth checking them out and reading. But also don't forget that there's something useful about simplicity too. I built more complicated apps that don't necessarily do better than my simpler apps. A lot of times, think about your design and your end user. Do you want an app that they just open quickly and they need to get something quickly? Keep those things in mind. Just because it looks super flashy sometimes doesn't always mean that's the better approach. I've been a victim of that myself. I've made some crazy looking things and just confused everyone. So let me go back to my Q&A here. So at this point, do we have any questions concerning these basic screens? And
Yeah, Ian, we've got a couple questions I'm going to run through that we've received.
okay. Should I see them in my?
Yeah, I probably have them on my side. I didn't assign them to you, so I'll just read them off as we go down the list of how I've received them. First off, we had John asking if we have an app already, how easy is it to get into the Buzztouch standards or convert it to Buzztouch plugins?
John is talking about an app made somewhere else, and they want to convert it or port it into the.
Yes, I believe he might have had an Android app. I can open up your mic. Let's open up the mic real quick for
Okay, cool.
John.
Very good question.
Okay, John, you're opened up.
Hey, how are you guys?
Hey, John, glad you're with us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I bought this program online, and it was very easy to do, but they had a lot of problems. They lost it really quick, and then it was easy to use, and I compiled everything, and then some things were broken, but I I put it on the Play Store, Google Play Store, and I've got over 1,000 downloads, and there's a video section that doesn't work. You click on the highlighted areas, and they don't play. But the Twitter and the Facebook and all that stuff works. And I did receive a .apk file, I believe it's called.
Right.
And the reason I joined Buzztouch is I looked at it and I saw that it's also easy, but I also wanted to fix this existing app because surprisingly enough, I'm getting like a lot of downloads, and I haven't monetized it or anything. I've got some stuff on there, but I'm actually looking at it and going, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed.
You want me
I
to?
think Chris might have a good answer on this as well, but I think, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, it might be good for him if he can build the app fresh. Then if he has the credentials for that app, then he can just submit that, and the existing users can update that same app, right?
Yeah, that would be the best way. Is what you have the APK. That's the actual compiled app. That's the final binary that gets submitted for people to download. So if you don't have the source code, then that kind of leads back to one of Ian's first points about the benefits of Buzztouch, being that you own the source code. You saw in his Xcode, he had every single line of code. So if you do not have the source code, the best advice I would give is to try to rebuild the app with the screens in Buzztouch. Once you get it all working and you're happy with it, you can go into the Google Play Market and upload it as an update and just kind of overwrite it, get rid of that old one. And then the next time people update, they'll get the new one, or anybody that downloads it new will get that new one. So that would be the best way to do it.
Very good, thank you. I'll tell you guys, I'm 57 and I work in the film industry, and we're busy as hell. And I was looking for an easier way out. I was for a hocus pocus thing, but this gives me a chance to actually learn Buzztouch because it looks really, really cool, and I've met a lot of good people on there. So thank you very much for your answer. I'll have to get at it.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, and don't be afraid, John. Like I was saying in the forum, I would get building that app, and then any questions you have along the way, just go with the plan of build that app in Buzztouch, and then overwrite that app in the Google Play Market, and people will see the update, get the update, and you'll be good to go.
Beautiful. Ian, does it automatically update if they've got that checked?
It will notify them to update the app.
Sweet. Okay, that makes me feel good. Thank you. Thank you very much, you guys.
All right, we're always around on the forums, so don't be afraid to shout out there.
Right on. Do you guys got like different handles? Like some people get there's a few on there, Mac Apple and Mr. David and stuff.
Yeah, you'll see Ian at Buzztouch. I think I might have said hi to you in one of the forums. I remember you saying you were in the film industry. So,
right.
Yeah.
Awesome, Ian. Thank you so much. And I believe it's Warren.
I'm actually Chris. I'm logged in as Warren. Yeah. Warren usually does the webinars, and I'm logged in as him to administer this one, and it puts his name up there. But I'm Chris, or Stobe, if you see in the forums.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
All right. The next question was from Timothy. His first question was, when will the other lessons in Buzztouch University be available?
Another great question. A lot of changes going on around here, and we do plan on getting more lessons finished. Right now, there's a lot of the lessons that are there are to get people started and comfortable, and they're great to go over. And it sounds like you've done all the lessons, which is great, Timothy. The other thing would be to check out if there's certain other topics, I would check out the other Buzztouch webinars on YouTube regarding some different subjects, some really advanced stuff. If you're looking for that kind of information, but we will be working on more Buzztouch lessons, hopefully sooner than later. There's a lot going on around here. Little vague, but hopefully that helps you, buddy.
All right, the next question was from Vicky, and her question is, where exactly is the data submitted through an app get stored? So I'm gonna unmute Vicky so that she can ask that and elaborate on that question a little bit more.
Cool.
So Vicky, you are now unmuted.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Vicky.
So what exactly are you asking about the data that gets stored? Are you talking about the data that's inside the app or any interaction with the user themselves?
Well, my concern, for example, my primary usage of smartphone apps is for maps and the Gas Buddy app. And of course, when you submit information on Gas Buddy, the information goes for everyone who uses that app and the website to see. So when you use a Buzztouch app, where does the data that is submitted through an app get stored?
Okay.
You want to take this one, Chris?
Sure. I'll do my best. There's a couple different ways with Buzztouch how you can set apps up. Some of them can be completely what we call offline, which means the app gets downloaded to a user's device, and anything that they do with it just stays on that device or goes to any external websites. Like if you're browsing through a website, it's just like accessing it through your browser itself. The other option is to have what we consider a live app or an online app or a dynamic app, where you saw how Ian could change things on the fly with the app. So when you do it that way, the only interaction that the user has with any type of servers is it just briefly goes out and it touches the Buzztouch servers. It asks it if it has any kind of updates, if there's anything new, like when you hit that refresh button, he was manually doing that for the app user. So that's the only interaction with Buzztouch as far as anything being stored. So depending on what type of plugin you would be using in the app, also different plugins use different maybe SDKs that may talk back to certain third-party type providers, but there's nothing really stored at any kind of servers at Buzztouch except for the project that you're working on is obviously there, and the configuration file is the only thing that's fetched. It's not really any kind of user data. Does that answer your question?
Well, for example, I'm looking to set up something where people can review certain types of products or services. And when I build the app, I would like to be able to receive the settings that people give to these various products and services. So when they submit, for example, the quality on a rating, say from 1 to 5, I want to be able to receive that. Now, would I set that up as an email and receive that data by email, or where would it go?
That would depend on how you actually set it up. So, for example, if you're talking about survey type stuff and feedback type stuff, then the best practice to do that would be set up some kind of a server with a PHP script that would accumulate that data and process it and store it somewhere, whether it's a database or it pipes it out to an email address or it pipes it to a text file somewhere on a server. So that's stuff that you'd have to kind of, engineer yourself. But there's also third-party ways, like if you use a service like SurveyMonkey or one of those type that's just a website, then you can certainly just embed that in the app as a web page, and anything that gets stored that way would get stored to your SurveyMonkey account, and then you can access it from any computer or from your device itself. So that's probably the easiest way, is to use a third party, and there's a ton of different auto emailers or surveys or poll type setups, and that would probably be the best way to do it, is use their back end as opposed to trying to engineer up your own.
I see. Okay, thank you.
And there's a lot of people that have done that, and I think there's actually people working on a survey type plugin eventually. So that's a popular enough function that I think we'll eventually see it as a native plugin.
Great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Vicky.
All
Thank
right. Next question I have here looks like again from Timothy. How do I get my clients easy access to their apps in order for them to do push notifications to their app users?
I think, hi again, Timothy. I think you're probably talking about maybe doing a self-hosted situation where he can have clients with their own login screen names. I'm reading this correct?
Right, let me go ahead and unmute
Okay.
Timothy. You're unmuted now, Tim.
Hi, Timothy. Can you hear us? Hello?
All right, let me jump down to another question while we see if we can get a hold of him. Next question from Robert. What is the difference between a screen and a plugin?
There is no difference. Pretty much in my mind and in our Buzztouch users' minds, screens and plugins are the same.
Right. So a more technical answer would be a plugin is a function that gets downloaded into your source code and you can utilize, and then the screen would just be an instance. There we go. Is that Tim? Tim?
Yeah, this is Tim.
Okay, go ahead and elaborate on your question about having clients access their apps to do push.
Okay, basically I want to build some apps for local businesses, and I want to offer them some push notifications and some maybe some coupons or something like that. But I don't want to be doing the push notifications for them. I want them to be able to do it.
Right.
Not sure
Well,
what that would require.
for you would be able to in your self. I'm guessing you're self-hosted. Are you going to self-host?
I probably will if that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's your best bet to do that. And to get push notifications working anyway, you would need to be a Buzztouch member. I'm not sure if you're a member or not yet.
Yes, yes I am.
Okay, well then you're all good to go. Really, you would just you'd need a server to put. You're already good to go with downloading the self-hosted version,
Okay.
and then set that up on your server, and
Okay.
check around on the forums for help with that, or contact us if
Okay.
if it gets confusing. But you'll see right in your self-hosted version, you'll be able to take your clients' emails and a certain password that they want, however they want it configured, for them to log in separately to separate apps, to their very
Okay.
own apps. And then you'll need to just direct them to their push notification screen.
Okay. That
So
makes sense.
totally possible, yes.
All right.
And if I can add a little bit on there as well, if you don't already have your web hosting and you don't already have your self-hosted server set up, there's a member at Buzztouch. His name is Mr. David. You'll see him in the forums all the time. And this is just kind of a personal plug from me, Chris, not from Buzztouch per se, but he's set up a lot of self-hosted servers for other members, and he's very good at customizing some of the PHP and the look of the server. So if you have bigger, better plans for that, I would definitely reach out to him and see if it's something that he'd be willing to help you out with.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool.
Let me just double check real quick with Robert that we answered your question enough. Let me see if he's around. Let me unmute Robert. All right, Robert, we were answering your question about screen and plugin. Was that a good enough answer? Did that answer your question?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I think so. I'm just not sure why there would be two terms. It seems like there must be a little bit of a difference between them.
I think it's more of a historical term. Buzztouch has been around for 2 years. The plugins have been around for less than a year. So before, it just made sense to call everything a screen. And now, like I said, the plugin is the function itself, and you would add, you would purchase the plugin or use the plugin in your app, and then you can create many instances of it. Like if Ian wanted to put 17 different maps in his app, then they'd be 17 different screens, all using the same map plugin. But the short answer is it really means the same thing.
Okay.
All right, and let's see. One last question, then we're going to roll on with the rest of the presentation and entertain some more questions at the end. Looks like Ebenezer says, I lost contact for 10 minutes. Could you please talk about the physics and capabilities within Buzztouch? So let me get up to Ebenezer and unmute him and see if he can ask that question. Ebenezer, we can hear you now if you want to ask the question.
Hi,
Hello.
I just
Hi,
want to
Ebenezer.
know, yes, how are you? I just want to know the capabilities within Buzztouch so far as physics is concerned.
Are you talking about physics like, like for gaming?
Yes,
Nothing built in right now with Buzztouch for gaming. There is one of our members is working on a gaming platform plugin. I'm not sure how much physics it's going to have, but I think you're thinking more of like a game salad type solution that has those built-in physics models for iPhone
yes,
apps.
yes.
But the I guess the longer answer would be anything that you can find source code wise from other providers, you can certainly implement into an app within Buzztouch and use. It would just show up as a, one of your plugins would really be the game in that case.
Yeah. Would the
Terrific.
webinar on that, would the plugin webinar be useful for him on that, where David created that bug game? Maybe that would help him.
Yeah, yeah, but if he's specifically asking for physics,
Right.
then you have
Yeah.
to go with a more robust solution than
Right.
uh, than smashing bugs. But certainly, everything is. We always answer that everything is possible with Buzztouch. It's just a matter of if you have the skills to get the source code into it, or if the plugin
Yep,
already
yep.
exists.
Okay, I'll follow up on that.
All right, very good. All right,
Great. Thanks for joining us.
let me
Thanks.
go ahead and stop the questions for right now. If you have any more questions, please go ahead and type them in, and I'll keep logging them. But let's go ahead and let Ian continue on.
Cool. Well, we built our symbol app, showing you some of the basic functions of the control panel. And really, like Chris was just saying, it can be unlimited, especially because you get the source code and you can tweak things and you can add things. Or maybe you get your project to a certain point where then you just need another developer to, a more experienced developer to add certain gaming or whatever you need in your app. At least you're that much farther along with your app and they just need to add those certain features. So let's move along and talk about the membership. We met our little simple app. And this membership is an important, and we started touching on this topic. But let's look at this. Starting in 2013, Buzztouch changed their membership model to be both easy to understand and affordable. There used to be different models for payment and membership, but right now, as a Buzztouch user, you're either a guest or a member, and that just makes it much easier for everyone to understand. And it's a one-time fee for the year, and it's amazing all that you do get. But whether you're a guest or a member, you're treated the same around here. You have access to the forum. You ask questions. You can still build apps, access to the plugin market, all that. So let's actually look at this guest versus member. So as a Buzztouch guest, you can create up to 3 apps in your Buzztouch hosted control panel, which for a lot of people, that's plenty. 3 apps, that's not bad for free. You keep the source code for the apps you create. So again, you're you're not losing anything right there. That's a huge feature. You still get the source code. Access to the forum, access to make purchases in the plugin market. So even as a guest, you're allowed to take full advantage of Buzztouch offerings. You can attend public webinars such as this one, and then you can attend select live events. And the live events are pretty cool, where we actually get together face to face and talk code and talk hobbies, and just really neat to actually meet the people. And when David Book is in the house, it's on. Really cool guy. So let's look at the members. So if you were a Buzztouch member paying the annual fee, you would get to create 50 apps in your Buzztouch hosted control panel, and that's on buzztouch.com like we did tonight. As well as you would be able to download the self-hosted software, which allows you to run your Buzztouch server on your own website. So, which brings us to the next topic. You can create unlimited apps in your self-hosted server. So sky's the limit there. I mean, if you're a company like one of our members tonight wants to build apps for a bunch of clients in different businesses, your self-hosted server is a great solution for that. And since you're already a member, that'll allow you to do that. You still get to keep the source code for the apps you create. Another great new feature is sending push notifications using the Buzztouch backend. And we won't get into the technical speak of push notifications, but basically it's a powerful way that push notifications, when your app is not running on the phone, you can still send messages and notifications to your users even when the app is closed, to let them know something's going on. If there's a special going on, or for the business, you want to have a special thing going on today, and you're like, how do I let these people know about this? We can send them a push notification, and that'll get them on track and keep them updated, even when your app is not open. So it's a very big feature. As a member, you can also buy or sell plugins in the plugin market. So as a guest can just buy plugins. If you start learning code, which you will in the Buzztouch platform, you'll start to, once you build your app and you get your source code, you'll get probably a little curious and start poking around. And then we have a lot of members that have done that. They've gotten good enough at coding where they've made plugins, and they're now selling them on the Buzztouch plugin market. We've got exclusive member-only webinars and live events. The member badge that you'll see in the forums on certain people that are members. You display it in your forum profile to show your support. We always appreciate that. Thank you. And then plus any member-only improvements added later. And there's just always stuff rolling out. And the beauty of Buzztouch too is that David Book and the rest of us are committed to keeping Buzztouch up to date on all the most recent developments. Apple is constantly adding new features or changing things up, and Buzztouch changes with them daily, which is awesome. Do we have any questions about members and guests? Any of these benefits, or what you may or may not get, or why you should join if you haven't already?
I've got a question here from Leslie Fung. The question is, are the apps online accessible? Let me unmute Leslie's mic here. All right, Leslie, we can hear you now. Would you like to elaborate on that question?
Hi, Leslie. Hi, Leslie. Can you hear us? Hello. So you asked, are the apps online accessible? Do you mean, can you hear me?
She typed in yes.
Oh. So I guess she's asking, are they accessible in the App Store market, in the marketplaces, or?
It says an actual website. She just typed in an actual website.
As in, can you host your app for people to download, you mean, from your own website? Which you could do with your Android apps. You could not do that building an Apple iOS app. I think I'm understanding you correctly. I'm not sure. Sorry.
Yeah, her reply is just internet.
Well, the basics. The basis is basically work with your Buzztouch control panel, like we did tonight. Download your source code. Then build your app in your Xcode environment here. I put it back up on my screen, and then once you have all that done, you'll be able to compile your project and put it together in a package that you'll send to the App Store for review. And then it will be on the internet in the app stores for customers or friends or whoever to download, if that answers the question, hopefully. So there is one more step to all this. Yes, maybe I wasn't clear on it. That you'll see my simulator on the screen again. You'll see my Xcode. This is to get the app built. Now, once you build your app, you're going to need to submit that project to Apple, which we can cover in a different webinar. We don't have enough time to get into all of that tonight. But what I did here tonight is one step away from submitting your project to Apple to be on the internet in the app stores. Okay?
All right. In the meantime, I've had a couple questions. Asking if this recording was going to be available, and yes, I'm recording this actual webinar. And in your user profile or your user account menu, you'll see a tab for webinars. And when this gets uploaded, it'll show up there. Hopefully, it'll be uploaded by tomorrow. And let's see. That's the last question I'm seeing in the question panel. If anybody else has a question, either type it in now or raise your hand on your name.
And I might be able to add to that this Xcode environment that we've been working with tonight. You can download that. Just go to Apple and make a developer account and sign up so you can download that program. I don't know if that helps Leslie as well too, but again, you can use the Buzztouch forum to find and ask any question you can think of might already have been asked on there to get additional help.
Okay, I've got a couple more questions in here. One is from Leslie asking, is the fee one time or annually?
The fee is annually.
Okay.
But you will not lose any apps that once you've created them. It's not like if you didn't update, if you didn't pay again next year, you wouldn't lose any apps. We're not in the business of taking anything away like that.
Okay. The next question is again from John, who was asking before about he had already had a compiled Android app in APK file, and he was asking if there was any pictures or videos that he had already had in there that he could use to build for Buzztouch. And just for the sake of answering it quickly instead of typing it out to him, I'll say that there may be some ways of extracting files from an APK. I would just Google that. I'm not an expert on the Android system, but just Google how to possibly extract the files out of the binary. And a question from Ebenezer: does Buzztouch produce source code for Windows? I'm guessing Windows.
No.
Windows Phone.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's asking. Yeah. Not at this time. Maybe in the future, but at this point, we're concentrating on iOS and Android. They're two of the biggest players, and not that the Windows Phone's not cool, but there's just a lot of demand right now we need to keep up with for the iPhone and Android.
And my suggestion on that is, since everything uses HTML5. The more that you can, uh, start to compile your content, and that way it converts over from all phones just as easily. And when there is a solution for Windows, then it'll just be a matter of linking those screens right in.
True. Yeah.
All right, I'm not seeing any other questions currently.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to finish up this webinar with just success stories, but basically just touching on that there's just tens of thousands of people out there using the platform and having success, and these ones that you're seeing on the screen that you can probably read are just a few of them, and you'll run into these people on the forums as well. And again, though, I can't stress enough how important it is to interact on the forums and get involved, and don't be afraid to ask questions and meet people on the forums. It's a friendly environment, and you'll be another success story too. I mean, we can go on for a while, but we're getting close on time. But yeah, it's daily we receive emails and stories of thank you from people that have succeeded where they weren't sure they would. So we're all happy about that around here. So I don't know, any final questions before we sign off for the night? Everybody good?
I've got several thank yous. John is thanking us for all the help, and he's very impressed. Ebenezer as well, giving a thank you.
Awesome, guys. We love all those comments. We don't take things lightly. I know when I first joined Buzztouch a few years ago, um, I didn't know just how much it meant when I said thank you to David and the gang. And then now that I'm a little more involved in the company, I see just for myself how cool it is. We are real people just like yourselves, just helping to run the ship along, and every thank you and appreciation is very appreciated. Thank you all.
Got another couple thank yous in just by just in the last second. Thank you from Doug and Mira, and Ebenezer saying I think Buzztouch is very cool. I can't agree more.
Yeah, awesome, guys. Well, make sure we all chat on the forums as well, and on your webinar page in the meetups. Look for any events that you might want to go to, because it's a blast. It's a good time.
And Ian and I do the same format every 2 weeks. And even if you're not a new user, you can always come to the new user webinar if you have questions that you think would be answered in this type of webinar. Then feel free to attend another one or download another video and watch some of the previous ones. Every time we do these, we get different questions, and it keeps us on our toes, and we love it. We love answering questions. We do this to try to help. Obviously, the biggest question is, how does it work? Is it real? How can this be true? How can you do so much for so little price? And I wouldn't be a believer myself if I didn't know that there was people behind the magic curtain actually making this stuff work, and that's what we're here to do.
Cool. Yeah, and I can guarantee everyone that you stick with it, you will succeed. I'm confident in that. So cool.
All right. Well, it looks like we're just about out of time, and we're out of questions, at least for this event. So I'm going to go ahead and thank everybody on behalf of Buzztouch for attending the new user webinar. I want to thank Ian for doing an awesome job with presenting the content and answering the questions as well. And keep an eye out for other events and webinars. And thank you so much for attending.
Awesome. Have a great night, everyone.